Hey creatives, and welcome to Technique Tuesday. If we've never met before, my name is Kim and I'm a creative freelancer with a passion for film and the written word. And if we have met, welcome back. And on today's Technique Tuesday, we're talking angles. Let's get started. Alright guys, like I said, we're going to talk about angles on this Technique Tuesday, but before we get started talking about the 4+ bonus angles I think every filmmaker should have in their arsenal, let's talk about why angles are so important. They're not just accidents, they're not just to make the film look cool. When a director chooses an angle, they are intending to add their mark, their stamp on the story that's being told by the script. So this is a visual format to add to the depth of the story. And every angle has a different meaning. Every angle is intended to drive a different emotion from the viewer. And that's why angles are so important. So let's get started with the 4 I think you should absolutely have in your arsenal. And there are plenty out there, tons of great creative angles, but these are the 4 that I think you should absolutely understand how to use before you venture on. And the bonus one is kind of just one that became super popular with the drone. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1 is the base shot, and that's the eye level. If a director chooses this, they're not intending on anything. They're intending on allowing the viewer to remain objective, to tell you that what's within that frame is what's the most important. So pay attention to what's going on within the frame is kind of what the director's trying to tell you. This is used a lot in sitcoms, a lot in, honestly it's used a lot, but to kind of give you an example, the sitcom, because it's just eye level. It's intended for you to pay attention to what's going on. So I'm not gonna spend much time on this one. It's pretty simple. We're gonna move on to some more cool angles, the ones that I like, and that is number 2, which is the high angle. Now a high angle can be shot from point of view of the character. It can also be shot over the shoulder. But when a director chooses this, it's intended to create a sense of power, to dominance, fear, because as you're shooting down, whatever the camera is angled at, that person is feeling that they have the power over. So it's used a lot in horror films and sci-fi and anything that has a power struggle, whether it be internal or external, a power struggle that has someone that's dominant or something that's dominant. And so that is when a director chooses to use a high angle, that is the intention of that angle, is to elicit those feelings from his viewers and to tell his part of the story through the lens as an addition to what is going on in the story. So let's go ahead and move on to number 3, and that is the antithesis of the high angle, which is the low angle. And once again, these can be shot from point of view of the character, can be shot over the shoulder and up, but this isn't intended to create an emotion for the viewer that revolves around fear, awe, inspiration, worship. All of those kind of things can be told through this angle. And honestly, if you put the 2 together, you could do a really great battle struggle kind of thing. And oftentimes that's what happens in horror films, sci-fi, is anything, like I said, once again, that has power or someone who is intended to be like an idol or, worship, that kind of happens. So the low angle is really, that's what it's meant to do, is to show the person that you're looking at has dominance and power and they're overbearing and that kind of thing. That's the importance of the low angle. Let's move on. Number 4 is the cant or the Dutch angle. And so that is anytime you take the camera and skew it, whether it be a lot or a little. And this is a super important key, and it's a little bit more of an artsy shot, but it's intended to show instability, uncomfortability, a sense of like uncertainty. That's the intention. And once again, it can be shot from point of view of the character. It can be shot over the shoulder. It could be shot at eye level, but like askew as you're doing an establishing shot to kind of show that the character that's the main character is like on the brink of something, or, uncertain about what they're doing, or, all kinds of that kind. And that is the intention. If a director uses this shot, that is the intention of what is going on with the film. All right, guys, so those are the 4 that I absolutely think you need to have in your toolkit. But the 5th one has become super popular in the last couple years with the drone, and that is the aerial. And so an aerial shot is intended to be an establishing shot. It can kind of be used as like a shot that dictates like the emotion of a character. So if you pan up, as an example, if you shoot up over a city, that could be intended to tell you that the characters feels like they're small in a big world, that their world is frenzied and hectic, and and cluttered, right? On the other side, if you jump up over the top of a scrolling field with like one little farmhouse, it can be isolation and loneliness, and depending on the music that you choose. And honestly, we'll talk about music selection in another Technique Tuesday because it's a super important part of film. It can be intended to elicit a lot of things. So if you take those 5 angles, and that's the only 5 angles you have in your arsenal, and trust me, there's tons more angles that you can play with, you will be set to make an awesome film that pulls whatever emotion you want out of your viewers. And guys, that's it for Technique Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed talking about angles, and if there was any angle that I missed, go ahead and leave me in the comments below. And also leave me an example of a scene that one of your favorite directors used one of these angles in that really pulled those emotions for you. And like I said, that's it for Technique Tuesday. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you're digging on Technique Tuesday, go ahead and hit that subscribe. And creatives, until next time, safe journeys.